Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel. You got your boys here, Lanny Burt, the Dividend Diplomat. In this video, we're going to talk about three major news stories that have happened over the last week. Two companies are in the news for splitting off, but for very different reasons. And the other story is about one of the hottest stocks in 2024 may be showing signs of weakness. They may no longer be invincible.
Guys, three big stories, but we need you guys to smash that subscribe button. Give us a nice thumbs up. Still planning on that 20K video, guys. So thank you to the community out there. Get that coffee ready. We got three big stories, three big headliners, all making big news and headlines here. Bert, this first one, we got to roll out the carpet for the telecom space.
Once again, but we're not talking about everyone's favorite stock on this channel to dump on with Warner Brothers Discovery. We're not talking about Paramount. We're actually talking Comcast, ticker symbol CMCSA. Comcast is running back the old AT&T playbook here. Comcast is getting ready to unload all of its cable products in a tax-free spinoff. They're spinning off $7 billion of revenue on its own. They're getting rid of almost all of their cable portfolio. It's going to be gone except for Bravo. So MSNBC, CNBC, USA, Oxygen, E, Sci-Fi, Golf Channel, gone. You're in your own company. You're going to be spun off. You're going to also have Fandango, Rotten Tomatoes, gone. All in this company that's going to get spun off. They're taking their internet business, One World, internet and cell phone at One World, cable on its own, Lanny. Man, oh man, have we heard this story before? Yeah.
Oh, we've heard the story, guys, and run as fast as you can, guys. Don't hold on to those cable networks. But Comcast flat this year, so maybe they felt like they were compelled to finally shake up the business, maybe open up some margin, open up some value to the shareholders, which is their should be number one objective is the shareholders. So shareholders, let us know what you plan to do. I don't know if you receive stock or not in this spinoff, but if you do, are you dumping? I know I would recommend so.
Yeah, and what's the reason they're doing this? They're saying it's going to be this new media company will be positioned to acquire other media and digital properties to gain greater scale in an increasingly streaming focused landscape.
Oh, yeah. I feel like we've heard that before.
Yeah, that's right. So, from my perspective, I think this will be interesting for the cable networks. It'll be interesting for the content creators because we've talked about here on this channel, even though I mentioned we hate Warner Brothers, we hate Paramount right now, we have mentioned that something weird is going to be going on in this sector as the major streamers, as your Netflix works more into live sports, as Apple continues to push their studios, Amazon Prime starts to get into this. You have all of these streamers looking for content, looking for ways to get involved. Is it going to be easier to start acquiring these legacy cable companies, acquiring this legacy IP, or even the legacy IP merging together in a way to combat the streamers? So could this new Comcast, Paramount, and Warner Brothers combine to make one massive powerhouse?
Come on, Paramount. Come on, Warner Brothers. Let's do something here. We want to see it happen, guys. But yes, so that's Comcast. That's one story. But we got another story. We're heading into the tech space, the good old artificial intelligence, AI king. Nvidia themselves, NVDA, are they no longer invincible? They had amazing results in that quarter, and now they're flipping the page into that last quarter here, guys. And Burke, what do they expect to generate right now as it stands?
Yeah, this is what's so interesting about them. Their results were amazing. Their third quarter results, when you look at the numbers, you look at the growth, you look at the forecasted growth, it is unbelievable. But looking ahead to your point, Lanny, to that fourth quarter, Nvidia is expecting to generate 37.5 billion revenue, plus or minus 2%. Analysts were forecasting 37.1 billion, but also the analysts that were really optimistic were forecasting $41 billion. So normally you'd think of that and say, hey, Nvidia is forecasting growth higher than what analysts were expecting. Why is this such bad news? Well, because they can't hit that high upside 41 billion right now, because they can't hit the high 30s, the low 40s. It's starting to question in there, are they starting to revert back to the mean? We all know it's not sustainable for Nvidia to continue this meteor. What is it? Yeah, this meteor
rise.
Yes, thank you. meteoric rise of revenue growth that is not sustainable. At some point, it's going to slow down. At some point, it's going to come to the reason. At some point, this curve is going to start flattening out here.
Yeah, it's math. You
Yeah.
can't keep having 100% returns or gains from prior period. It's just not how it works. At some point, it goes down to 40%, and then
Mhm.
80, 18%, and then 14%, 12. Again, because you're growing from a larger number. So yeah, growth should slow at some point for Nvidia. There's still a high super growth
Yeah.
model, but as Bert, you mentioned, new competitions coming in the AI space. Nvidia is not the only one that is doing it, guys.
No.
Obviously, you've got the big likes of Google, Microsoft, and Apple all developing right now. Artificial intelligence. Maybe they are using NVIDIA, maybe they're not. But right now there's a lot of companies in the space.
Yeah, and what happened with tech in the 80s, what happened with tech in the 90s, eventually you're going to get those new competition. They're going to find a product that's better. And it's going to be the pressure is going to be on Nvidia to continue pressing, to continue developing the new top of the line. And history shows us that somebody else in the tech space is going to come in and take a bite from that market share at some point. When is it going to happen? Is it 2024, 2025, 2026? But even planting that seed of doubt right now, even planting that has caused the stock to kind of drop a little bit this week. It's only down 5%, so it's still up a ton, but that seed has been planted. The question is, will they be able to respond? Will they still be able to crush it? Are they still the hottest stock of the year, or are they going to get pulled down from the top? That was so fascinating about the little nuggets in this last earnings release.
Let us know if you guys own NVIDIA, if you guys are taking profits, taking off the top. Let us know. Last story here on a Monday, guys. Alphabet or Google, ticker symbol GOOG, the DOJ, good old Department of Justice, are here to still fight with Google over the push to hopefully spin off a few of those assets that Google owns based on the dominance that they have in the search engine space, specifically with Google Chrome. I know it's the only search engine I use. That's for damn sure.
That's absolutely right. You haven't got me on this DuckDuckGo. You haven't got me. You cold day in hell before you see me using Microsoft Edge for anything. But what I thought was so interesting was how firm they were in trying to get Google to spin off Chrome. The language was pretty tough in there. It'll stop, what is it? The quote will permanently stop Google's control of this critical search across point and allow rival search engines the ability to access the browser that for many uses a gateway to the internet. They also pushed them to offload Chrome's operating system and divest the mobile operating system. So they really took some swings in this, but nothing was as forceful as trying to get them to spin off Chrome. Interestingly, Lanny, in their earnings release, they said Alphabet's search and other segment generated 49.4 billion of revenue. So 56% of the company's quarterly revenue is in there. So I can tell you this, Google's not going to be going down without a fight there. You're not just going to get them to split off 56% of this company just because the DOJ wants them to. I can guarantee you there's going to be some big battle here brewing.
Is it time to buy Google? Guys, let us know in those comments. They are a dividend growth stock. So let us know if you're buying Google.
Yeah. But interestingly, if you think about this, because I had thought about this over the weekend, right? So say whatever happens with Google, say you buy Google today, and it's this massive company that's going to be under DOJ attack. Sure, you could have bought them a few years ago, whatever. You split them off into this Chrome search company and this Google company that's left with operating systems with YouTube. Are those two standalone companies going to be worth more and be better for your long-term investment? It's an interesting thought, interesting thesis. Anyone, let me know what you think if you've had that same thought below.
Guys, that was the headliners from last week. What stocks are you buying this week? What are you looking forward to from a new standpoint this week, guys? Like this video, smash that subscribe button. Let's get to financial freedom. And Bert, hit him with that sweet chin music.
You're either with us or you're against us, Jack.
That was Bert the Hurt and Lanny from the Dividend Diplomats. Over and out.